Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello children, welcome to the session. In this session children, we are going to discuss about the reflection of light. So let's now begin to understand what do we mean by the term reflection. So children, whenever you are standing by the bank of the river, you can observe your image in the river, right? So what is that image? It is your reflection, right? Or whenever you see yourself in a mirror, in a plain mirror of a dressing table while combing your hair, what you are seeing is actually your reflection. Okay, so your image is referred to as the reflection. But also in terms of light, but now in this session we are going to understand this term reflection in a much more detailed manner, wherein we will understand this reflection in terms of light. Okay, so let us start and begin by reading a little about it. So children, when you go near a river bank, you can see your image on the surface of river. So here the surface of water is acting like a mirror. Okay, so you are able to see yourself, you are able to see your reflection in water. Why? Because the water is acting like a mirror to you, right? So this water can also be called as the reflecting surface here. Okay, now whether it is the surface of water or looking mirror, they change the path of light. So children, this is one of the most important point that you need to keep in mind, that what happens when an image is formed, when there is reflection of light, what is actually happening? The light is changing its direction. The direction of light is changed. Okay, so children, one more thing you need to know here is light can change its direction only when it hits the polished surface or a mirror. Okay, so let's now move ahead. Even you might have seen any reflection of trees or buildings in water. You might have seen, every one of you. And so children, any polished surface or any shiny surface acts like a mirror. Which polished surface? You can see your image, you can see your face. If you try to look into a steel plate, right? So steel plate is acting like a polished surface, right? You can see your image in a spoon as well, right? So these are all the polished surfaces wherein you can see your reflection, and reflection is formed whenever the light changes its direction. Okay,
to show that smooth surfaces cause reflection of light.
Materials required:
Small plain mirror, highly polished brass plate, book.
Procedure:
Method: take a mirror and allow the sun rays to fall on it. Turn the mirror through various angles such that the light of sun on striking it falls on a wall. You notice as the angle of the mirror is changed, the position of light on the wall changes. Thus, we can say that a plain mirror reflects light. Repeat the activity with a highly polished brass plate. You notice the same observations as in case of a mirror. Repeat the activity by holding a book in sunlight. You notice that no light patch is formed on wall. It is because the surface of the book is rough. Thus, light rays bouncing from it move in various directions and no light patch is formed. Conclusions: 1. Smooth surfaces can cause reflection of light. Such a reflection is called a regular reflection. 2. Rough surfaces do not cause regular reflection. Such a reflection is called an irregular reflection.
I really hope you have understood this, because children, this is the base of this lesson. If you know this, only then you will be able to understand the further topics. Okay, so let's now begin with the next point, which is one way to change the direction of light is to let it fall on the shiny surface. For example, a shining stainless steel plate or a shining steel spoon can change the direction of light. What happens is, suppose this is the steel plate. Whenever light falls on it, it will reflect, because it is acting like a polished surface, and it will reflect the light. That is, it will change the path of light. Even if you haven't understood it right now, no need to worry, we are going to discuss more about it in detail. Okay, So the surface of water can act like a mirror. Surface of water can also act like a mirror and change the path of light. Okay. So surface of water is acting like a polished surface. Okay. And it is changing the path of light. So children, how do we define reflection of light? So children, this definition can come in examination as a 1 marker question. So you need to know how do you write this in your exams. Okay, you know the basic, what is the reflection? Reflection is the image formed, right, after the light changes its direction. But how do you write this in your exams? We are going to study it. Mirror changes the direction of light. We can write mirror or any polished surface. You have to write both. Polished surface changes the direction of the light that falls on it, and this change of direction by the mirror or a polished surface is called as the reflection of light. So I really hope children you would have understood this. So let's move ahead. Now children, in your childhood you might have heard about this story. You might have listened a story of lion and a rabbit from your grandmother or grandfather, okay, in which rabbit fooled the lion by showing him his own image in water of a well. Lion jumps in the water and dies, and this story was from Panchtantra. It is based on the reflection of light. So children, what happened was, there was this rabbit and he fooled this lion by telling him that there is another lion in this well, and when this lion looked inside the well, he saw his own reflection. He saw his mirror image, right? He saw his reflection, and this rabbit made him jump into the well, okay, and that is why he got and that is how he got rid of this lion. So children, this beautiful story was again based on the reflection of light, okay. So let's now move ahead. So now children, we are going to do an activity which shows that light is reflected by the mirror, okay. So children, what we are going to do is, we will take a torch. Okay, this is our torch. What we are going to do is, we will cover this glass of the torch this side with a paper, okay, and we are going to make 3 slits into it, okay, and we will spread a sheet of chart paper, and we'll try to do this activity in a little darker room so that we can observe the reflection of light or the movement of light very clearly, okay. So now on the other side we are going to place a plain mirror, okay, and we are going to place it vertically, okay. Now we will switch on this torch and let the beam of light fall on this mirror, okay. Now these rays of light will be reflected because the light coming through the slit can be seen, okay. We are going to discuss this with the help of diagram also, but first just read about the but first we are going to just read about this a little bit, okay. What we have done, let's read the procedure. We have taken a torch and cover its glass with a chart paper which has 3 slits, okay. Now we have spread a sheet of chart paper on a smooth wooden board. Fix a plain mirror strip vertically on the chart paper like this, and now direct the beam of light on the mirror from the torch with slits, okay, and place the torch in such a way that its light is seen along the chart paper on the board. Now adjust its position so the path of the light from the torch strikes the mirror at an angle, okay. So let's see what we are going to do. So earlier children, we have placed it vertical, we have placed this mirror vertically like this, and we have placed a torch over here. Now children, what we have done is, we have placed this torch at an angle, okay, so we can observe the 3 beams of light coming through each slit, okay, and after reflection we can see that this light changes its direction. Earlier it was coming from this direction, then after reflection from here it changed its direction. So children, in this activity clearly proves that how the light gets reflected from a plane mirror, how the light is getting reflected from the plane mirror. So children, if a question is asked in exams, give an activity to prove the reflection of light. You have to give this activity, but you have to present it in such a manner that first you will write about the aim, you will write materials required, then you will write procedure. Procedure has to be always, you have to write procedure always in points, okay. then you will write about the observations, and finally the conclusion. Okay, in this way you are going to present any experiment or an activity. Okay, so let's move to the next activity. In this activity, what you are going to do is, children, you are going to observe the image formed in case of a plane mirror. Okay, we are going to observe the image formed in case of plane mirror, and you will observe that the image formed by the plane mirror is always of the same size as the object. That is, if you're trying to look at yourself in a looking mirror of a dressing table, you will observe that the size of the image formed will be exactly same as your size. Okay, because in that case you are the object, right? Even if you place some other object in place of a plane mirror, you will observe that the image formed is of same size. Now we are going to read more about it in detail. So let's read about the activity. What we are going to do is, you have to place a lighted candle in front of the plane mirror. Okay, now try to see the flame of the candle in the mirror. Okay, it appears as if the similar candle is placed behind the mirror. So children, whenever an image is formed in a plane mirror, it appears as if the similar object is placed at the back of the mirror. Okay, so the image formed in case of plane mirror is always behind the mirror. Okay, you have to keep in mind the position of images behind the mirror. It is behind the mirror. Okay, then the candle which appears behind the mirror is the image. So children, this image, this is known as image, which is the other object which appears like the similar object is placed behind it. It is actually the image, okay, formed by the mirror, and the candle is acting like the object. Now move the candle to a different position in front of the mirror and observe the image in each case. And in each case, children, you will observe that the image formed is of same size, and it is formed behind the mirror. Okay, the position we are going to discuss it in next activity. Okay, so let's discuss this through a diagram. So children, you can see, if we are placing a candle in front of mirror, it appears as if a similar candle is placed behind the mirror. Okay, so the children, the nature of the image formed is, it is formed, first of all, its position is behind the mirror. Second, it appears as if an identical object is placed. Identical, that is, it is of the same size. Okay children, so let's now move ahead to the next activity to discuss more about what is the nature of the image which is formed by the plane mirror. Up till now we have understood that light can be reflected through the plane mirror. Second, we discussed that the image formed is exactly same as the object in case of plane mirror, and also the position is behind the mirror. Okay, now let's move to the next activity. In this activity, what we are going to do is, children, let's just read about it. What we are going to do is, we will take a chessboard. So children, let's move ahead to the next activity. You have to take a chessboard, and in case you don't have a chessboard, there is no problem. You can you can draw a chessboard like structure on a piece of paper. You just have to take a chart paper which is having 64 squares of equal sizes. Now you have to draw a thick line in the middle of the paper. Fix a plane mirror vertically on this line. So in the middle you have to place the mirror vertically. Place any small object such as pencil or sharpener at the boundary of the third square counting from the mirror. So suppose here you have mirror, so and these are the squares of chess. So what you are going to do is, you will count 1, 2 and 3. So in third column you are going to place some object, maybe a sharpener or a eraser. Okay, so you are going to place it over here. Note the position of the image. Now you will try to observe the image in the mirror, and you will observe that the image is also formed in the third square just where the object is placed. Suppose now you place it in the second column and you will try to observe the image where the image is formed, and you will observe if you have kept the object in the second square, the image will also be formed in the second square. So children, what we can conclude from this activity, that the object is formed what we can conclude from this activity, that the image is formed exactly as far behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. Okay, I hope you would have understood. So the image will be formed exactly as far behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. Suppose we have placed the object in the third square, then the image will also be obtained in the third square behind the mirror. Okay, so the distance at which the object is placed and the distance at which the image is obtained are equal. Okay children, now shift the position of the object to the boundary of the fourth square. Again you will observe the image will be formed in the fourth square. Suppose now we have moved this object to the fourth square, then the image will also be formed in the fourth square but behind the mirror. Okay, let's just understand this with the help of a diagram. So children, we have taken this chessboard, and in case you don't have a chessboard, you can make on your own. Now we are going to place the object in different squares and check where the image will be formed. We have placed a mirror vertically in the center of the chessboard. Okay, so if we place the object, say sharpener, in the third square, the image will be formed in the third square behind the mirror. Okay children, so what we can conclude from all the activities that we have done, that image formed by the plane mirror is all identical, that is of the same size. Then it is formed behind the mirror, and finally what we can conclude about the position, that image is always formed as far behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. Okay children, so I really hope that you would have understood this activity really well. So you will find that the image, let's just conclude, you will find that the image is at the same distance behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. Okay children, so I really hope you would have understood this. And how you are going to write this in exams, if you are asked about give the nature of the image formed by the plane mirror, you will write first, an image formed by the plane mirror is erect and is of the same size, right? Because the image is always erect, it is not inverted. Okay, if you have placed the pen like this in front of a plane mirror, its image will be formed exactly like this, it won't be formed in the other way. Okay, so the image is always erect and of the same size. Then the image of the candle cannot be obtained on the screen. So children, this image is always formed behind the mirror and it cannot be obtained on the screen. Okay, and finally the image appears as far behind as the mirror as the image appears as far behind the mirror as the object or the candle is in front of it. So these are the conclusions from all the activities. Okay, so children, from these activities we can also learn, we can also learn about a term which is virtual image. So the nature of image formed by the plane mirror is always virtual image. So children, virtual images are the images which cannot be obtained on the screen. So the images which cannot be obtained on the screen are called virtual images. In the above activity, we have seen that the image of the candle cannot be obtained on the screen. Even if we try, no matter how much we try, we won't be able to obtain its image on the screen, and that is why we can call it as the virtual image. And children, there is one more important point, that is virtual images are always erect in nature, and the virtual image is formed when the rays of light after getting reflected from the mirror appear to come from a point. This you can ignore, this cannot be asked in your examinations, but just to understand, virtual images always tend to appear that they are coming from a point. Okay, okay children, so the nature of the image formed will be always virtual and erect in case of a plane mirror, right? So that's it guys, this was all about the reflection of light, and I really hope that you would have understood the concept really well. Thank you so much for your attention.